Tinkering here with another 2020 Mr. Olympia update, and we are gonna look at the men's classic physique, and we're gonna look at the two front runners, obviously reigning champion Chris Bumstead and former classic physique Mr. Olympia champion Breon Ansley. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go pose for pose. There's four mandatory compulsory poses in men's classic physique. And I'm just going to go through and tell you who I think wins each of those poses and why. So first up we have the front double bicep. Now I'm going to go ahead and I would give this pose to Chris Bumstead. Now remember, this is classic physique, it's not bodybuilding. So you want to have that classic look in every pose that you hit. And what is Chris doing? He's doing that vacuum. That's a classic look. Breon, he's got great shape and symmetry, right? He has somewhat of a classic look, but to me, that's more bodybuilding than classic. And I'm assuming that's what the judges are seeing too, right? Now, Chris is a little bit weak in the bicep department. He doesn't really have great bicep peaks. You look at Breon, probably like amazing arms, crazy bicep peaks, classic bicep peaks on Breon. And Chris doesn't have that, but he has great leg development compared to Breon. Breon has good legs, but just Chris has the upper hand on in that department over Breon, and so we're going to give the first mandatory pose, frontal bicep, to Chris Bumstead. All right, and up next we have the side chest. Now, both of these shots are the way they hit the pose is pretty much identical. But now let's just look top to bottom. So obviously, chest is the predominant body part we're trying to notice here, and that to me, Breon has slightly better chest development than Bumstead. Um, Biceps, you also want to take a look at. I would have to give that obviously to Breon in the side chest, and obviously, as you mentioned previous, in the front double bicep, obviously Breon has better biceps than Bumstead. So Breon's going to win on the bicep shot when it's shown in the side chest position. The side quad, to me, Breon also takes this because the tie-ins are tighter. That shows that Breon is in better condition, uh, especially on the side of the quad. Um, so I'd give that as well to Breon. And then, calves are, both of them pretty much similar in the calf development department. So in the side chest, looking from top to bottom, I'm going to give this one to Breon. All right, next up we have back double bicep. I think we all know Chris needs to bring up his upper back development, even his lower back development. He needs to bring that up. So that's something definitely we're going to be looking for in a few days on stage to see if he's brought up his back. So let's look top to bottom. I mean, right here you can see Breon is definitely his back is his strongest body part. So you can see even in the biceps. Look at the bicep peaks from the back, right? Much better developed than Bumstead. Even at how Breon hits the pose, he's leaning back more into the pose. Bumstead's leaning more forward, right? The glute and ham tie-in. To me, Breon has better structure and better tie-in in the glute hamstring tie-in than Chris. Even the striations and the cuts in the hamstrings, it's not coming through as much as it is with Breon. Now, Breon's tan is a little too dark, so I think that takes away from what his actual condition looks like. It's a little too dark. So hopefully he rectifies that and fixes that for this year. But you also look at the calves. They both match up pretty similar in the calf department. But overall, the full top to bottom back double bicep shot, I'm going to also give this one to Breon Ansley. I think that was pretty, no one's going to really disagree with that here. Maybe some people will, but in my opinion, Breon wins that back to bicep shot pretty clearly. But you know what? Bumstead's not that far behind. If he can make improvements and show it on stage this year that he's developed that upper back and lower back, it could go to Chris. But right now, comparing things to last year, Breon wins that back to bicep pose. And our final pose, the ab and thigh pose. And right away, I'm going to tell you, I have this one going to Chris Bumstead. He hits this shot more classic than Breon does. At the end of the day, this is classic physique. It's not bodybuilding. Okay. You see Breon in this shot, he's hunched forward more. He's just hitting this like your regular bodybuilding ab and thigh pose. You have to have an element of classic physique in each shot. And Chris is good at doing this. And that's why he wins, right? So why? Okay, he's displaying his abs much better than Breon. Breon's hunched forward, so you're kind of losing out on the shape of his abs there. Quad development, give this to Chris as well. He's got better quad separation. He's got more striation in his quads. So that also goes to Chris in this shot. So from top to bottom, Chris wins the ab and thigh pose. So if you're keeping track, I had the frontal bicep going to Chris Bumstead. Side chest goes to Breon. Back double bicep goes to Breon. And now the ab and thigh pose goes to Chris. So that would tie it up 2-2. Now there is also your favorite classic physique pose, which the judges have to judge on. Now I'm not including that because I think that's stupid to have, right? You can't compare two completely different poses side by side on stage. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm tossing that out, and that would be the determining factor in judging for the judges to give either a 3-2 for Chris or Breon, right? So overall, in my predictions as well for top six in men's classic physique, I had Chris winning and I have Breon coming in second. I think that's how it's going to play out. I think if Breon comes in second place again, he's going to move up to the 212 division, just like George Peterson did. I think that class is now better suited for him. He can pack on more size, more muscle. He is shorter than Chris, so he's got more of a compact bodybuilder type look anyways. And Chris can still put on some more size too. He's tall, he's 6'1". Right? He has room to grow into that frame still and be dominant and continue his reign as Mr. Olympia Classic Physique champion. So that is my take pose for pose. They end up tying, but at the end of the day, I give it to Chris Bumstead and take it home, that second title for Men's Classic Physique 2020. If you guys like what you saw, if you agree or you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your support. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks.